Hold on, Queens. I've got a message for you. This is the legal stuff. You know, the stuff the lawyers say I must tell you. So remember, this broadcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I am just your friend. I am not a licensed therapist, and this broadcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. Got it? Great. Hello, Sister Queens. Hello, Sister Queens. Come on in, ladies. Come on in. Come on in, ladies. Let's see how many we have. Yeah, you ladies are coming on in. Let me know who you are so we can welcome you. Welcome, 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 ladies. Welcome, Winnie. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome, 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 ladies. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in, Queens. Come on in and let's talk. All right, ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you again so very much for joining me for our 5th and final episode in our 2025 Women's History Month series of Let's Talk. I am just so honored that you would take time out of your busy schedules to join us. Again, hello, Betty. Hello, Fatina. Hello, Winnie. Hello, ladies. Hello, hello, hello. And ladies, if you could do me a favor right now, stop. Take the time to share this live to your pages. We want you to share, share, share. So those of you that are on, if you would share this live to your personal pages, we would greatly appreciate it. So share, 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 and tag, tag, tag. Share, 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 tag, 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 ladies. All right. You know, first, let's take care of some housekeeping. Remember, tonight, we will be giving away 2 prizes during tonight's show. We'll be giving away 2 $25 Visa cards. But remember, you must be present to win. However, in order for your name to be entered into the drawing, you must type #state. That is #STATE in the comments for your entry to be calculated. Remember, again, that's #STATE. This allows you to be entered into the drawing. Secondly, ladies, if you didn't know, Sister Queens Positivity Movement is celebrating 2 years of sisterhood. Woo woo! We are dedicated to empowering, uplifting, and inspiring women to embrace their full potential. We strive to create a supportive community where every queen is encouraged to shine, overcome challenges, and step into their greatness, knowing that together we rise, thrive, and transform this world with strength, unity, and unstoppable confidence. Thirdly, ladies, in honor of our 2nd anniversaries, Sister Queen came together to give back and make a meaningful impact. This year, we hosted a spectacular day of service at Grace House Ministries, giving hope and love to the incredible girls in foster care. As a reminder, our goal was to raise $5,000 for much needed products and services to support these young queens and provide them with the essentials they need to thrive. However, thanks to you, our amazing sister queens, we surpassed that goal and raised an incredible $7,442. Let me repeat that total. We raised an incredible $7,442. A heartfelt thank you to our amazing sister queens. Also, don't forget, we have that wonderful partnership with Winn-Dixie and Fultondale, and we'll be collecting their very generous donation at the end of Women's History Month. So thank you to everyone who donated to this cause. You are greatly appreciated and deeply loved. Please take a look at the video posted in Sister Queens to see all of those wonderful products purchased with your generous donations and the positive impact it made on those young queens' lives. Ladies, again, thank you for everything you did that. Lastly, ladies, to the nearly 4,700 sister queens who have joined our movement of positivity, I want to express our deepest gratitude for your incredible support and dedication. Your presence brings so much light and joy to our community, and your commitment to spreading positivity is truly inspiring. Together, we are creating a powerful ripple effect of kindness and empowerment. Thank you for being an integral part of this journey towards a better, more uplifting world. All right, ladies, now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's get started. Sister Queens welcome State Representative and Mayoral Candidate Juandalynn Givan. State Representative Givan of House District 60 was re-elected to serve a fourth term in the Alabama House of Representatives in the 2022 general election. She received her Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science from Miles College and her Doctorate of Jurisprudence from the Miles College School of Law. Upon graduating from Miles, she became a political appointee, serving as an administrative cabinet member to Birmingham's first African-American mayor, Dr. Richard Arrington Jr. She is the owner of Givan and Associates law firm and That Girl Incorporated. Most recently, she expanded her practice to include governmental relations, program management consulting services, and works in the community to improve the quality of life for all citizens fighting for civil justice and equality. She is a mentor and public speaker and is no stranger to public service. She is recognized as a leader in the community by the NAACP, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Tri-County Chapter of the Links Incorporated, and she was elected National President of the National Organization of Black Elected Legislative Women 2021. Join us, Sister Queens, in extending a warm welcome to State Representative and Mayoral Candidate Juandalynn Givan as she joins Let's Talk. All right, ladies. All right. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get Juandalynn on the screen. Hey there, Juandalynn. How are you? Hello. Ladies, if you're just joining us, I want to welcome you to the fifth and final episode in our Women's History Month series with our beautiful guest, State Representative and Mayoral Candidate Juandalynn Givan. Yes, ladies. Yes. Welcome again, Juandalynn. We are so honored to have you as a guest on Let's Talk. Ladies, ladies, let's show State Representative Givan some love with some hearts, ladies. Let's show her some love with some hearts. Let's show her some love, ladies. Let's show her some love. Yes, yes.
Love. I
You need the love, baby, and we're here to give it to you. Sister Queens give nothing but love, which you are a member of. So you know we got to show our girls some love. Let's give her some love, ladies. Let's give her some love. Yes. Yes, lady. And thank you again for agreeing to be a part of our Women's History Month series. I am so very grateful to you for that. I appreciate you because we know you have a jam-packed schedule. So thank you so much for taking time to join Sister Queens and Let's Talk.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me. Listen, I just got to say this before we get started, because I want the women to hear me when I say this, and those who really know me know when I say this, that means it's somebody that I love with all my heart, that I just respect. And you're one such person. And I simply say it by quoting Maya Angelou, one of my favorite poet laureates. Stephanie, you make me proud to spell my name WOMAN. Thank you for all that you do. We've been rocking a long time. And for those of you who have an opportunity to come to the Classic in Pink Affair and the Magic City Classic Affair, listen, Stephanie knows those 2 days out of the year during the Magic City Classic, it's already booked. We've been together. This will be our 10th year doing it together. And she does it with a smile and grace. And she really represents you all to the fullest. So thank you, first of all, for just being a friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't thank you enough. You're just an amazing woman, you know, and an amazing Black woman, of course, but you're just an amazing woman. And I am just so very grateful to you, not just for what you're doing right now, but just for what you're doing for our community, what you're doing for our state, and what you're doing for our people. So I thank you so very much. And we're going to go ahead and get right to it. Okay, my first question for you, the beautiful Juandalynn Givan, state representative and mayoral candidate. You have been a fierce advocate for the people. So what inspired you to even step into politics, and that's the first part. And what fuels your passion for public service? Because we know it's not always easy. So what inspired you to step into politics, and what fuels your passion?
First of all, thank you for that question. Listen, for me, Stephanie, what people don't know is that I have been involved in politics around the Birmingham area for a long time. I worked for Richard Arrington Jr. During his last administration, which carried over into a little bit of Mayor Bell's interim term, and then a little bit of Mayor Bernard Kincaid's term as mayor. And then I left there and I became the administrator over the Hope 6 projects, the one downtown where we tore down Central City, and then Inslee. But let me just tell you why. I have always loved politics. I'm a student of politics, an HBCU graduate, Miles College, of course, going into law school at Miles School of Law. But I've always been intrigued. But I'll tell you the thing that always kept me involved and inspired. My dad was a coal miner. But he was going to demand, didn't matter what he did in the streets, didn't matter what he did on the job. If you're in that house at 5 o'clock, you're watching the news. At some point during that week, you're going to have to give a current event. And the thing about it is I developed a love for history. I developed a love and knowledge of civics. And so it just carried over in every aspect of my life. And then also I looked at the fact that I didn't see women that looked like us. There were a few, but not many. And my process has always been that if a man can do it, I can do it. Now, I certainly don't think that we can do everything that a man can do, but I do believe when it comes to leadership, no one leads like a woman. And when women lead, we get results. And
Yes.
I stand on that. And for that reason, I've always said God made man first, but there's always a rough draft before the final masterpiece. And so with that being said, and to just simplify James Brown, it's a man's world. Let me say it, sisters, it's a man's world, but we all know it would be absolutely nothing. And I do mean nothing without a woman or a girl. And so who better than I?
Yes, yes, Queen. Yes, yes. So that actually inspired you, your dad, and it fused your passion for, just to continue in public service as well.
Absolutely. And again, the history, when you look at those great queens such as Dorothy Height, when you look at Diane Nash, not just, of course, we look at the Rosa Parks who refused to give up her seat. But then we look at all of these great women through history, such as Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, and all of these great women who were storytellers to the path that we are now able to follow. Miss Boynton out of the Selma area, Amelia Boynton, who died a few years ago, who was one of the great warriors. And these are sometimes names that we don't hear all the time, but also just a woman that owned the corner store or that lived next door to me, Miss Bernice, who I admired, who raised her kids and sent them off, and those nameless voices that cannot be heard, but they were the people who kept us stitched together. And we don't do enough of doing that today, of sharing the stories of those that we live near or our hometown. But for me, it was Miss Juanita Bolton, who was Kurt Bolton's wife, who was served as president of Win Radio, Booker T. Washington, all of that. And she's still alive. But when I saw her, she was one of those women. And when I started at that time, Bottonfield Middle School, she walked in, she was an AKA, I'm an AKA. But when she walked in the door, I saw greatness. And I saw greatness in her, and it was something that I wanted. And for that reason, God has blessed me. It hasn't been easy, but it's not easy for anyone. But even with it not being easy, I still serve a God that is able, and God is regardless of whatever happens, is the only person that can pull the sun out of the clouds.
Yes.
For that reason, I serve him, and I have my being.
Girl, yes, you did say that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I totally wholeheartedly agree with you. Seeing those people growing up and watching them, I've always just wanted to be involved and be a part and help our women and, have us come together and be unified and, love on one another, empower, inspire, and encourage one another. Just from seeing women around me, like you said, we're doing that. And I want to see more of that now. So,
and Stephanie, if you would allow me just to say one thing about that, just looking at you, and I mean that. And I've said this to you, I tell women all the time, we need to see each other. You need somebody that can see you, but most importantly, to let you know that they see you. And oftentimes we are so busy dragging each other, tugging and slamming and writing each other's name on the signboard. And I told you, Stephanie, I said, Stephanie, even at the event, I love just when you finally, because baby, listen, y'all, I want y'all to know she gonna work, but she gonna have her own. Now with that camera. She's gonna play and she's going to enjoy herself. And I love that. I love that because you've put the work in. Why not take your shoes off? Why not have someone to take a picture of you? You're worthy of being a visual that someone wants to look at. And so for that reason, every time I see you at the event, I'm looking at Stephanie and I look for that one thing, the smile. Because you're enjoying yourself. And I love seeing that.
Oh, me too. I'm like that. I love seeing women enjoy themselves and, and I love seeing them encourage each other and love on each other and be there for each other because that's what we need, not the backbiting, the negative talk, none of that. So I just love that. And I thank you for it. And also I thank you again for my award. It was such a surprise. So I thank you for my award as well. Yes, I thank you for my award. Oh, thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next question. So let me follow up with this. I'm sure we all want to know, you could possibly be one of only 2 female mayors of the city of Birmingham, with Carol Smitherman being the first in 2009. What motivated you to run?
Well, let me say, I would be the first elected.
Right.
And the reason why we want to stress that is because it's going to take women like yourself and those others that will be willing to go to the polls to elect. Listen, I say this all the time. What women need to know is that we support men all the time. But when it is time for a woman to run and win, between 15 to 20%, sometimes 20% of Black men do not support women leadership. Stacey Abrams is not the governor of Georgia right now because 15 to 20%, maybe 25% of Black men refuse to go vote for her. Even with Kamala Harris, we saw this a few months ago. You still had those groups of men, 15 to 20%, that just do not believe in Black female woman leadership. And I'm not going to lie to you, Stephanie, it does infuriate me sometimes because when you look around and you see all of these women who gravitate toward the men, what are you saying? Are you saying that a woman cannot lead? Why are you not putting that energy there? And it's not ever just to say, well, maybe it's the right woman. We have a lot of bad sisters walking around here. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I do consider myself to be in that batch.
Absolutely.
And so the realization is I'm just intelligent. Listen, I'm coming to the table. And why did I put my name in the hat? I'm coming to the table already experienced as an administrator. I've had over 15, 20 years as an administrator. I have supervised. I have worked in the administrative office of the mayor. I have a law degree and I have been practicing for 21 years. I'm an educator. I am an attorney for the Alabama Education Association. I represent a union. I'm the attorney that represented Johnny Mims, the bus driver, the van driver that had the situation. And we are now representing those individuals, the kids, students at Hoover High School that had the situation with the coach at the first of the year. So I have the experience, and I worked at the street and sanitation department. So why did I decided to run? Because I sat down and I looked at my resume. I looked at the fact that I worked for 3 mayors. I looked at the fact that I was one of the last 2 females because the men couldn't get it done for 8 years to bring Mayor Larry Langford home to die under compassionate release. And I was one of 2 attorneys, myself and Judge Tiffany Cole Johnson now, that was able to get him home to die under compassionate release from the federal prison system. Listen, I looked at my resume and I saw that if it were not for me, there would not be a Birmingham Zoo. That was my responsibility. I looked at the fact that the Eddie Kendricks Park downtown was my project that it was assigned to me by Richard Arrington. And today my name is on that moniker. I looked at the fact that I'm the one that's been around here fighting for folks, took on Brookside, tore down, dismantled an entire police department from corruption, standing pretty much by myself on behalf and with the citizens of that area. So with that being said, I also am the lone Democrat right now. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that I have the most pieces of legislation of the current body of members in the Democratic Party, 20 bills passed solo by myself, which is historic in nature. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty qualified. And I do believe right now, for such a time as this, with so much killing, with our city being in decay, our city is filthy. And it's not to knock anyone. I had hopes for this administration, but over 1,000 people have died since 2017 under the current administration. I'm not here to take anyone down. I'm here to give you all the facts. So absolutely, when we drive into our neighborhoods, Birmingham has 99 neighborhoods, 23 communities, but we only gauge success on downtown, uptown, and the south side. So the question becomes, what about us? So yes, I'm running, and I'm not only running, I'm running to win, because just as I said, I'm just as qualified, and certainly even more qualified than some of those who have come before me. And lastly, to close that out, you all have tried old, young, short, tall, y'all have tried everything in Birmingham but a woman. And Birmingham, it's time.
It's time.
It
It
is
is
time.
time. It is time. It
I
is
had to get that
time.
out. I had to get it out. You all, but I had to get it out. Yeah, because the question always is, well, you know, what are your qualifications? Well, you all had a person, whether you liked them or not, that was in office, and you could say what you want to say. William Bell was more than qualified. He knew city finance, he knew the administration thereof, and you all picked someone who had not one time supervised anybody, had not had but one major job, and it was the job that the boss gave them. So you asked me my qualifications. I do have a resume, and I can stand on it, and I'm unapologetic for every bit of it.
Yes, yes. So you do have a resume.
I do have one, Steph, but I had to get that out. Normally I don't say anything because people, a lot of times you'll see me fighting in Montgomery. And so a lot of my team has been saying, you never talk about the fact that you were the national SCLC Woman of the Year a few years ago for social justice, or NAACP Woman of the Year. Listen, I don't, because what I do for the service of the people. I serve as a voice and a vision and a leader for those whose voices cannot be heard. Whether you like me or not, you're never going to be able to say that I don't stand. And most of the time, I'm standing by myself. I'm not in Montgomery just to wear a suit and look cute. That's what we saw a few weeks ago up in Washington when folks were looking at the Democratic Party and this handling of the Trump speech during the address to Congress. Well, it's where you stand in times of controversy that defines your leadership, not when you're in times of ease thinking that Kamala Harris is going to get elected and you all going to get a good seat and be able to get some more chicken and eat some more cheese and wine. It's where, like you say, standing on business. And I'm going to stand on business.
Stand on business. Absolutely. Let me ask you this as well. As a leader, and just as you've gone into, you tackle some major issues impacting our community, both on a local and state level. What's one piece of legislation or initiative that you're most proud of?
The one thing that I am, oh my God, let me tell you what it is. If you let me just do a two-parter on it. A few years ago, and actually she was one of my sorors, she had a miscarriage. And she came to me and she said, listen, Juandalynn, she said, I had a miscarriage, but I can't even get any documentation that at least I was ever pregnant on the record through the vital statistics here in the state. And I said, oh my God, I looked at it. So I was just like, well, you should be able. She was like, no, because I had not carried the baby past, I think, the 20 weeks or whatever during the gestational period. And I said, oh my God. So I did my research, and I'm going to research everything. And what I found is we didn't. Well, there had been one or two states that had passed laws for non-viable births. That means you could get a non-viable birth certificate. And what that means is if someone now looks, or the mother, she would have something showing, because she had carried her baby and the baby was born. It had almost everything. I mean, I had the pictures, I used it on the house floor, and it meant so much to her. But also it didn't matter if they were black, white. So many women reached out because it was a part, and it was something to become a part of their healing after losing a child that they had carried, but it could not carry it to term. And it was very touching. And lastly, that's why I said it had to be a two-parter.
Right.
Because this bill has been controversial, and it was the body cam legislation that I passed.
Okay. What was that?
And it was for us to finally get something on the books. Now, some agree and some don't agree. But the realization is, because those that do not agree with it, they wanted me to pass legislation that would give outright review of anybody being able to look at body cam from a sworn law enforcement officer involving a citizen.
Okay.
Well, we had nothing on the books, and it across the country, it was a pandemic with regards to that. And it had been well argued that it should be public, all body cam. Well, for 3 or 4 years, the Republicans would not bring it up. They would not allow it to come to committee. It's very controversial. But we were able, after the Tyre Nichols, to convince the Republican Party, hey, listen, let us get something on the book. We agreed as a caucus. And what people have to understand when they're criticizing, we have to make caucus decisions. But we made a decision as a caucus to at least best be able to let families whose loved ones who have been involved with a killing or something be able to at least make a petition, go in and review, whereas they weren't able to do that. And so we were able to get that on the books. But the argument was the fact that they could not take it. And the reason I'm more proud of it now, with all the killing that took place in Birmingham last year, with people who were literally killing people because they thought they were going to be witnesses to to crime. Could you imagine, had we had that bill then, and those criminals could just go and get that body cam, it would have been more than just beyond the 150, almost 160 deaths last year. And so people need to understand the unintended kind of consequences that can happen with legislation. So it's not ideal, but our intent was to go in, and we're still going to do it and tweak it, because with the Republicans, you got to go inch by inch by inch. They're not going to ever give you everything you want. And we just need people to understand that. So for those that criticize, listen, when you can walk a day in my shoes in Montgomery, then you can criticize. But until then, next. Next. Yeah, next. Yes.
Standing on business. And
I know, I've been there 15 years. I know how it works. So I'm proud of that. But those two pieces of legislation, absolutely.
And I love those, especially the body cam one. I absolutely, that one is amazing. I didn't even know that was an issue. And like you said, there's so much that you guys are dealing with that we, the average citizen, just do not know. We do not know those things. So that's great to know.
We make the laws of the state. Listen, we govern the Mayor Council Act. If we wanted to decide today that we didn't want a council or a mayor, we could do that. We can rewrite it. We can rescript it. We fund all the school systems. You know, our role as legislators is to do two things. If I don't do anything else, I've done my job. That is to pass an education trust fund budget, as well as a general fund budget. Anything else that we do, it is because we become activists to help those who cannot help themselves. And people need to understand that. But, you know, a lot of times people criticize me after you've called me and asked me. Criticize me after we've had a conversation. Criticize me not just because you read the caption of AL.com, but you actually sat down, asked me a question, compared notes, and then criticize me. But we just have a problem. We just have those people that choose to do it the other way, and that's their right. I believe in free speech.
Yeah, and like you say, when they do, next. Hey, with that being said, you know what, ladies? It's time for a giveaway. It's time for a giveaway, ladies. Time for a giveaway. Remember, in order for you to win our $25 Sista Queen gift card, you must type hashtag state. STATE, hashtag state in the comments. Hashtag state. Hashtag state. So go ahead and get those in the comments, ladies, so we can tally up those comments and see who our winner will be. While we're doing that, while you're getting those in, I'm going to look at some of the questions. And then, Juandalynn, I'll let you answer those if we have any in our comments.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. All right, ladies, get that hashtag state in. Hashtag STATE. Hashtag state. Thank you, ladies, again for joining us. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Brittany. Fatina, all the way from Maryland. We thank you. Thank you, Adrian, Kalandra, Shardra. We had Shardra on, baby, and she brought the biz. Did you see? Yes, I love her too. I love her too. She was absolutely amazing, and she just helped us in so many areas. Baby, we got a full contract because of Shardra, and I'm going to get that out to you, Sista Queens. Thank you, Jennifer Albero, my V2, all the way from Maryland. We thank you. All right, ladies, we're going to go ahead and get those hashtag states calculated. Let's see who our winner is. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Now, if you've already won, I'm going to put that name back in there and roll it again. 𝗏𝐾𝐴𝐵𝐺𝐵, 𝗏𝐾𝐴𝐵𝐺𝐵, you are the winner. Yes, yes, 𝗏𝐾𝐴𝐵𝐺𝐵, you are the winner of our $25 gift card. Remember, we will send me your address so that we can get that out to you. And it takes 7 to 9 business days to come from the vendor. Let me know when you do receive that. And congratulations again. Yay, 𝗏𝐾𝐴𝐵𝐺𝐵. All right, Juandalynn, we're going to go ahead and get to our next question. Well, let me ask this one. I just saw, hold on one. Okay. Tanaya Keller wants to know, has anything been passed to hold cemeteries accountable for their upkeep?
I passed, actually, believe it or not, a few years ago, and I should have also noted that one, but you asked me for one bill, and I should have did another one. I passed a bill here a few years ago also, and then I passed another one to allow for at least $200,000 to be put in place to help the cemeteries, to create a cemetery authority board. The problem is the cemetery authority, cemeteries actually fall under our insurance department for the state of Alabama. Why, I don't know. It's very, very difficult, however, to regulate them. I feel that one of the reasons it's difficult is because they've made it difficult because it's really big business. The lobbyists, the governmental affairs, the insurance companies, it's a whole lot that goes into it. But we do have a cemetery authority board. Corey Hamid, who is the owner of Serenity Funeral Home, is the chair of that board. And they had started doing a lot of good work, but and we've passed some regulations, but it's very difficult because many of those funeral homes are private, cemeteries are private. And when I try to add and include the private cemetery component to the legislation, listen, I'm just telling you, the rich folks got with the richer people in my colleagues that are the other color. When I say color, I mean blue or red. Those red, and they shot it down, and so they attempted to water the bill down, but they have started cutting. And so I would suggest that you get in contact with Corey Hamid, or I'll get you a number, Stephanie, so you can get to her.
Okay, thank you. We have another question, then I'm going to go ahead and get to the one I have for you as well. What is a good way to get everyone civically engaged? I love that, Fatina. Voting, showing up to meetings, and holding officials to their word.
Yes.
Yes. How do we do that?
Listen, let me tell you something now. I'm glad you mentioned the election. This will be a very consequential election. I want everybody to know that. I want everybody to understand that. This election for the city of Birmingham mayor will be the most consequential since 1979, when Mayor Richard Arrington ran and won, the first Black mayor. Why? Because that is also the year, and what thrust him into that light was because Benita Carter, a young girl, had been killed by police officers. And so it was an urgency of now. And we're in an urgency of now. So I want people to get registered to vote, but don't just register to vote. We are the most registered to vote state in the union. This is no lie. I'm giving you facts. Yes. Facts. And we are the most registered vote state in the country. We need to get people to the polls. But unfortunately, our people are people who only vote if they have something to hope for. So let me simply tell you this. You do have something to hope for, Fatina. Listen, it is time for us to go to the polls. We need to get the women out. We need to get everybody out and go vote, because our city cannot go on another 4 years like this. We have to be encouraged, and especially now, Birmingham, and I'm telling you what to do to get them involved. We used to be the number one city in this state. We're no longer number one. We're not number two. We're not number three. We're number four. We have lost that much population. So any funding that comes in, it's going to go to Huntsville first, Mobile, Montgomery, and whatever's left will come to Birmingham. One of the reasons that people are leaving is because of the crime. The other reason that they are leaving, they still have problems with the school system, and Dr. Sullivan is doing a great job. But there are still some things that have to be improved upon. And lastly, people are leaving because they are sick and tired of riding on potholes, tearing up their cars, on broken down streets, cracked roads, dirty, filthy neighborhoods. And they're just over it. No mom and pop stores. Our neighborhoods have died. And so that should give people enough of something to go and hope for. So
yes.
I don't believe in just going to folks and saying people sacrifice. That's not going to work, because you're dealing with people now. And people ask, well, why do people not vote? You're dealing with people now, Stephanie, that never had, everything was given to them. Everybody who had been beaten had already been beaten. Everybody had been spat upon and taken to jail. Though that era was over. The people we're dealing with now, they're not familiar with that. That's like you're speaking a foreign language to them.
That's a great
realization is, at the end of the day, we must get people to understand that we are in an urgency of now, and give them something to hope for. Tell your mama, tell your sister, your brother, your dog. Listen, we cannot go on like this anymore. We had 100 and almost 60 people to die last year, the most since 1933. Why is that critical, and why you need to be voting? Because in 1933, we know we're coming off the heels of post-Reconstruction, getting ready to move into the Jim Crow era, the war, all of that. And they were killing Black folks like crazy. And you had more people killed in the city with less people. I think at the time, I can't remember, vice versa. But the bottom line is, that's a whole lot of folks to die. And so with that should give you hope enough. And then lastly, promises made, but promises that were not kept. There were a lot of promises made over 8 years ago. And we have not realized that those promises of clean streets, clean neighborhoods, safe streets, revitalization in where we live. So all of those things are things that we need. Environmental injustice is a huge issue. We have towing problems where we're getting predatory towing is off the.
I saw that. I
owe people an apology, because a lot of people been calling me about this predatory, and I was like, well, they just I have witnessed it, and it is getting so out of hand and ridiculous. So all of those issues
should make you want to get out and vote. Vote and get others to vote. You were talking about, I had a question here, because you were talking about child, as far as education. So how does the DOE cuts affect our children and grandchildren? Denise Devine wants to know.
The DEI cuts?
She said, did you mean DEI, Denise? Yeah, Department of Education, I think she means.
Okay, she's talking about maybe DOGE.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the DOGE cuts. And let me make sure people understand. The DOGE is where they are actually going in and they're doing reviews of all of these departments. And whatever they decide as they get ready to slice it up, dice it up, they're going to do it. And I want to say this. People keep talking about, well, they're doing this, and, they don't care, and we need to be telling them they're hurt. Listen, these people already know that. I want y'all to come closer, because I want y'all to hear me. Come here. Come right here.
Come in, Sister
Everything that these people are doing is transactional. They don't care about your heart. They don't care about taking food off of your table. It is their intent to make. I'm going to tell y'all the truth, what's going on, so y'all will know it. It is their intent to make Elon Musk the first trillionaire in this country. And he is going to do it. He's only a few billion off. He's going to own every contract for every computer. He's going to own all of our weaponry in our military. He is going to own everything within our governmental system, that it will take him well over what he needs in order to become the first trillionaire. So I want y'all to stop saying, Lord, let them just have, they're not going to have mercy on you. They don't intend on it. And I'll take you back so far, just to when Donald Trump was inaugurated a few weeks ago. Y'all remember the little priest lady that was praying, and she just started praying, Mr. President, I pray that you will have mercy on the sick. I pray that you will have mercy on those that clean our hotels. I pray that you will have mercy. And Donald Trump started looking up at her like this, and everybody around him, they were panning the cameras. And I'm saying in myself to this lady, listen, woman, Donald Trump maids are at home. He don't care about none of that. They are not going to miss one thing. People worrying about why Melania Trump not living in the White House. That woman lives in a house made of marble and gold. You think she want to go to Washington and live on creepy floors? But at the end of the day, Doge, there will be a cut in the education department. But the Republicans have been edging towards cutting public education. Y'all need to, first of all, start reaching out to y'all state legislators, because this is stuff we've been fighting against. I've been in the House of Representatives 15 years. They have been trying to fight against public education. That is why you're seeing so many charter schools. That is why you're seeing school choice now being promoted, because they're making a way to put the tax credits and all of the credits that are needed in place for all of their people, and it will be their people and the little black boys that can play football
and basketball
that will get an opportunity to partake in that, because their parents are going to request the tax credits. They're going to live in a certain area knowing they live out of zone, but they're going to take it because they made exceptions in the law a few years ago for that. So the realization is, to everybody that is listening, the train has left the station. Now, what is going to be how drastic the cuts are going to be. But that is also a reason why, first of all, even as the sister asked about education, Birmingham is making great strides now. But the realization, Stephanie, is this also. Birmingham, just 2 years ago, had the highest truancy rate in the state of Alabama. Because kids were not, we were over 25% of our students were not in school, which is 18% over of the total throughout the state. So we need to get our kids back in school, because when our kids are not in school, our schools are losing money, and they are funded based upon the number of students that are enrolled at the beginning of the school year and who remain enrolled. But there will be cuts. And that is why I say to our parents out there who have these kids that are playing sports and they're so involved in everything else, but not involved in trying to curate the lives of their children beyond football, basketball, soccer. And listen, I say this, no disrespect. I tell people all the time when I do public speaking, listen, at the end of the day, I love football. Alabama football, roll tide. I'm a Miles College Golden Bear. Go Bears.
Yes, go Bears.
Okay, because that's the school that I have on the back, on this wall right here. But at the end of the day, you should be your child's best coach. You ought to be sitting down at that kitchen table. I learned at the kitchen table. My mother was going to make me do my homework. And listen, she didn't care if I fell asleep at the table. I took plenty of pieces of paper of homework to school that had all kind of chicken grease, all kind of oil, cornbread. Listen, it didn't matter. As long as it got in, it got in.
Absolutely.
Education starts at home. Starts with simple reading, math, and arithmetic. Sitting down, teaching your children subject-verb agreement. We have a responsibility also, but certainly education should be at the forefront. But it is not the intent of my Republican colleagues to allow for that. And therefore, there will be more cuts. Anything that's dealing with education, and especially the education of our people, listen, you're going to see more and more to come.
Oh, wow. I could just go on about that. I'm going to move on to the next question. Wow, that's something. Many people feel, especially now, Juandalynn, they feel disconnected from politics. I mean, because of what all is going on, they are literally feeling disconnected from politics. So what's one thing you wish more citizens, whether it be locally or statewide, or even when they're voting on the presidential level, understood about how government decisions truly impact their lives, and especially now?
Listen, I started this podcast off with my father. Didn't matter what was going on, you were going to watch the news, and you better not turn the TV. The realization is politics is politics.
Mm-hmm.
You can just say it's politics, however, but the realization, or I don't do politics. Politics is in everything you do.
Yes.
I don't care who you are. I don't care who you think you are. Politics is in everything that you do. And for my friends, even those that are Jehovah's Witnesses, I tell them when they say, well, I don't want, but look at your money. Because on your money, it says, in God we trust.
Yes.
I've never seen a bill yet that was made in the U.S. Mint that didn't have that. So therefore, you're going to have to deal with, regardless of your religion, regardless of your sex, you have government for a reason. Because the Constitution simply says, the Constitution simply says that the people are to have representation. Whether you like it or not, you cannot get so disenfranchised. You cannot. I know we were hurt when Kamala lost.
Yes.
She called me to go. I went on her behalf to the last 3 stops. One was Allentown. I thought I was going to meet her team. No, I had to go and speak on her behalf.
I saw that.
And let me tell you something. At the end of the day, when she lost, it was devastating. It's still hurtful. But you cannot go home and cover your head. It's okay to mope for a minute. But the realization, we must stay in the game, because guess what? Even if we didn't push that Kamala Harris over the edge, or her over the wall or whatever to get over, there's somebody else to come. We cannot get weary in this moment. This is a season. This is a season that we are now to mount up. See, God sometimes puts you in a place where you need to have a seat, and not just one seat, but several seats back. God puts you in a place to be still. Peace, be still. God also puts you in a position that when it is time for you to fight, God empowers you with what you need. Moses, come here, Moses. What's in your hand? What we need is already here in our hands. All we need to do is understand that this is just another season.
Yes.
This is just another season. And I say this, and I want to say this to the women listening, if you would allow me.
Please.
To the young lady that asked about the politics, and I know it's painful. I know you feel like you're downtrodden. I know you feel like you have nobody to listen. But let me just simply say, as I said at a women's conference the other day, listen, Black women, we were brought here from Africa. We didn't ask to come here. We were bought here, stolen, sold for nothing, put on a ship, brought through what is considered to be the Atlantic trade slave period in time, what is called the Middle Passage, the transatlantic slave trade, because I want to be clear.
Yes.
Through and across the Atlantic, beaten, raped, castrated, mutilated. Some of us jumped. We have bones that now dangle in the ocean floor. But listen, at the end of the day, getting here in 1619, being sold as chattel, still mutilated, raped, taken advantage of, treated as if we were nothing. And then we move from 1619 to at a point we finally are free. Not even knowing it for almost 3 years. From there, we move from post-Reconstruction to Jim Crow, to the deeply segregated South. But let me simply tell you, even from there, we went to 1964 to the from 1964 to 1965 to the 1965 Voting Rights Act. 1963, 4 little girls killed at the 16th Street Baptist Church. I'm putting all of these things, Martin Luther King's death, Kennedy.
Yes.
But guess what? Through all of those things, Black women.
Yes.
Black women became the pillar of the foundation, the structure that holds the Black family together. In other words, we've been through some things.
Yes.
We've had some dark days. It's going to be some darker days. But I don't believe there's nothing that a Black woman can't handle, nor is there anything, come here, Abraham and Sarah, is there anything too hard for God? And I say this every day. Lift your heads up. We've gone through a period of mourning, but now it's time for us to mount up. It's time for us to tell somebody that everything's gonna be all right, even though they take your little check away. Everybody need that check. I got it. Every now and then I'm looking for mine.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have something to stand on. We're gonna make it, and we're gonna be okay.
We are.
We got homes that right now COVID showed us that Black folks can survive anything. Because many of us became business owners.
Yes, we did.
We had crafts. You have people right now, the workforce is still impacted because, listen, people still have not gone back to work because they found a way to be able to make $1,000 a week or $2,000 a week and don't have to go and punch anybody's time clock.
Yes, yes.
So Black women gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a song, we gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, I love that. Being a Black woman in politics, since we're talking about Black women, it comes with these unique challenges. And I know you have seen some challenges. So how have you navigated the pressures of leadership while staying true to your mission?
When I started working for Richard Arrington, he's had these words, and I've spoke this publicly. Juandalynn, know who you are. Know whose you are, and understand how those two things work together. And when you know who you are and whose you are, it's all right to walk in the room and nobody likes you. It's all right to walk in a room and everybody's talking about you. Because for me, if I walk in a room and ain't nobody talking to me, I don't need to be in that room.
I love that.
I don't need to be in the room. If you're not the subject, if you walk in the room and don't nobody see you, nobody pays attention. So for me, knowing who I am and whose I am, and then knowing my mission, every day we need to get up with a mission. It's simple. What is your purpose? What is your mission? What may fit me? And stop trying to wear everybody else's shoes. God made your feet uniquely yours. Walk in your own purpose. Little girls come up to me all the time, Juandalynn, I want to be like you. I said, no, I want you to be better than me. Be who you are. Grow in your promise and grow in your purpose. And when you can do that, see, I can wear this lipstick. Pink lipstick. Even when everybody talk about my lips being pink, guess what? I have sisters now that come up to me, Miss Givan, let me show you something in my purse. They're pulling out pink lipstick, and they've been talking about me for I don't know how long. Even when I am a little bit more blonder than some would like it. At the end of the day, I have seen a lot of 27-piece hair colors, 27-piece hairs, walking around here with the 613 hair color blonde in all sizes. So be who you are. So how I have made it, I trust God. And not only that, God has been so good to me. I know that I serve a God that will never allow me to drop any farther than he can carry me. I know I serve a God that regardless if you slay me, the word of God says, though you slay me, yet will I trust. So if I trust God, I can be no better than the woman with the issue of blood for 12 years, sick, for folks talking about her. Hey, been the doctor done told all her business. But it wasn't until she got into the multitude and Jesus was there. And I tell women this all the time. Everybody talks about that passage of scripture, and they talk about the woman with the issue of blood, and they talk about the faith. But the moral of the story was not just her faith. It was a verb. It was action. It was her movement and what she did. It says she pushed her way through and touched Jesus. She had to push. And so I'm saying this to the women. How have I been able to sustain myself? Because I'm able to push my way through some things. And sometimes you have to push your way.
Your way. Yes, you do.
Gotta push. And lastly, I'll take the words of Dougie Fresh. A few weeks ago, I had him here, Stephanie. You took.
I know.
He talked about Kendrick Lamar. I took him over to Parker, and he talked about when he and Kendrick Lamar met, and Kendrick Lamar was coming up in the business. He called him, and he said to him, "Hey, Doug, I want you to take me to meet and introduce me to Stevie Wonder." He said, but before you do that, he said, I want you to tell me, how have you been able to sustain yourself through all of life's trials and ups and downs, growing up in Harlem during the most critical drug era in history? He said, listen, let me give you some advice. In life, you must have a main thing. Main, M-A-I-N.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing has to remain the main thing. Ladies, find yourself a main thing. Work it. Use it to your advantage.
I love that. Mm-hmm.
Grow it. Craft it. Listen,
main thing.
The main thing. And for me, these last 20-something years of my life, the main thing for me is being able to be who I am while helping others, unapologetically myself, knowing who I am when I walk in the room, but also understanding that there are tables that I may sit at where I'm not welcome. So I don't worry about those tables, because at those tables, when I sit down, guess what? It may be your table. And if I'm not welcome there, I don't have to remain seated, because I can get up and go to a table that I sit, that I have sat at, and that I have set for myself. And I am proud to be able to say, I am now a Black woman, that I can walk away from the table, because guess what? At the end of the day, I know what my main thing is.
I love that, ladies. That's a great one. Find your main thing and craft it. Find your main thing. Okay, ladies, you know what that means. It's time for another giveaway. This will be our last giveaway in our Women's History Month series. So let's see who our winner is going to be. We know we've taken you a little bit over, ladies, but that's okay, because this has been wonderful. We want you to hang on just a few more minutes, ladies, because this is great. We have one last question for her, so get those hashtag state in, hashtag STATE. Let's see who the winner is of our next $25 giveaway. Get those in, hashtag state, hashtag STATE, to see who the winner is going to be. We're going to give you a chance to get those in. I'm going to be looking at some of your questions. Ladies, she has been absolutely amazing. Juandalynn, you have brought it, girl. You have brought it. You have brought it. Let's see who our winner is going to be. Remember, ladies, hashtag state, hashtag STATE. Okay. Well, let's do it one more time. Wendy just won last week. So we're gonna do it one more time. One more time, ladies. One more time. All right. Our winner is, and I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Calandra Smith. Calandra Smith, you are the winner. Yes, of our $25 giveaway. Yes. So Calandra, send me your contact information and we will get that $25 gift certificate to you. Gift card to you. And it's so cute because it's a Sista Queens gift card. They're non-reloadable. People were asking me that because they wanted to hold on to them. But hold on to it anyway, ladies. It's non-refundable, reloadable, but they are super, super cute. So, all right, ladies, we're going to get to our last question with State Representative Givan and mayoral candidate. So here's your last question, Juandalynn. If you, State Representative and mayoral candidate Juandalynn Givan, had to leave our audience with one call to action to create real change, what would that be?
Ooh, listen, for me, and I know it's going to sound like a cliche, I'm going to say to you all, first of all, I've been seeing this pop up in your comments.
Mm-hmm.
Stand on business.
Yes.
We have a lot that is going on and that is going to happen in this country. There are going to be more cuts. You have people now who are losing these good government jobs. Y'all know them government.
Yes.
I don't say government.
I know government. Yes.
You have people who have fought the good fight. But what I would just simply say is stand on business. Listen, get involved. Get engaged. Go to my website, Givan for Marriage, GIVAN for mayor.com and look at the platform. There are so many things that you can get involved with. There are so many issues that we have plaguing us right here. We have a homeless crisis in the city of Birmingham right now. We have a crisis with our young who need conflict resolution. So if you're a counselor or an educator, go mentor a person, a young child. Listen, our children are not so far beyond reach that they cannot be saved. But you have to take the first steps. Stop living in these zones where you're so comfortable. You're living in these fine houses where you go into your garages. But the realization is life is happening outside those corridors.
Yes, it is.
And we have to, whether we like it or not, exist within there, in that area also, or beyond that corridor or beyond the pillars. So for me, stand on business and understand and define what that business is. Be here to help someone. There are always greater causes that are greater than yourself. And for that, if you do that, you can be a voice. And let me tell you something, we can mount up and change some things. We can change some things. It may not have happened with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris preached that Project 2025 almost a whole 6-7 months, almost a year, half a year.
She did.
She told them. They didn't want to listen. Not only white folk, not only Latinos, we had Black men and women that didn't want to vote for her. They refused to vote for Kamala Harris. They refused to listen. And now what we're seeing is the results of you turning a blind eye and calling her dumb and uneducated, saying that she laid on her back. Listen, let me tell you something. I want y'all to hear this. I asked, and I was one of the ones that stood up, and I simply said it. And I one of the few. If you're going to question Kamala Harris' intellect, but you're not questioning other leaders' intellect, how many degrees do you have? How many high schools have you graduated from? How many bachelors or doctorates or Juris Doctorates or PhDs do you have? And better yet, how many GEDs do you have? And the reason I put the GED in there, because they were questioning white females who would always criticize her and hadn't graduated from any school, but they dared to say she was not intelligent or that she laid on her back. I do believe Melania Trump had to lay on her back when she got Donald Trump. He didn't have her before she, I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yes.
And then, listen, we fight for all of these people. Find people who will fight for you. I know Joy Reid. We're fighting for Joy Reid. But at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, I preach Jesus. And I said this at a women's conference. I love Joy. Joy, don't be mad at me, but I'm using this only as an example.
Right.
But when you're fighting for these people, you better be fighting for people who preaching Jesus. You better be fighting for people who can quote you a scripture and mean it and understand and show you where you need to go to get you some relief. At the end of the day, we love our celebrities and superstars. But if they can't tell you the 23rd number song, if they can't quote or give you a passage of scripture, not even Jesus wept, I believe you better be focusing your attention on something and something better. Stand on business. And
stand on business. Stand on business.
For the evening. Stand on business.
Stand on business, lady. You heard that call to action to create real change. Stand on business. Ladies, this has just been, oh my goodness, this has been so amazing. We know we took you about 10 minutes over, but we sure do thank you for joining us. I'm going to look right quick to see if I have any questions. If I have, I may not be able to get to all of them due to time, but let me see what we do have. I think we have covered most of them. Hello, Tori Handy. My baby said, you ain't called my name.
That's right, Mama. You better call your baby. That's what I just said. The main thing. That's your baby now.
I think we did. I think we've covered most of the questions, ladies. And tell them again how they can get in touch with you, Juandalynn, if they have any further questions or any questions about your campaign.
I'm at my hand fan. I don't know if y'all can see this big sign.
We can.
Y'all see this big sign right here? Okay.
Yes, we do. Birmingham is time. Givan 25.
And then
Givan for mayor.com.
Y'all see that hand fan? I'm getting more made. I've been getting calls for them. We're about to run out of them. But go to Givan for mayor.com. Listen, seriously, look at my platform. I did an interview yesterday, and on that interview, the interviewer said to me, Juandalynn, he actually called me this morning. He said, listen, I've interviewed a lot of people for office. He said, but this is one of the most detailed plans that I've seen. And I was very proud to hear that. We have a great team that is working with us of all sexes, all colors, you know, all of it. Hey, look, Ty just popped up. I had to give him a girl. That's my sister from another mother.
She's a sweetheart, and she hey Ty.
And so she said, stand on. Look at Chandra.
Stand on business.
All your people out. But anyway, long story short,
that's my girl.
Business, standing on. And listen, I want to say I am working, and I'm gonna get with you, Stephanie. And Chandra, you come on over here with the little people over here now. But I'm trying to pull together a big Women's Mother's Day event. I'm trying my best to pull it together. I'm working on a sponsor. I'm going to let you all know. Trust me, it will be one that you do not want to miss. And I'll get the word out, but it may be the first week of May. I'm hoping if we can do it the first week of May, sometime around there, it's going to be really, really one of the best that you have seen. So
we're looking forward to it. So we'll be looking out for the information. In the meantime, I just want to thank you, my girl, State Representative and Mayoral Candidate, Juandalynn Givan, for being our 5th and final guest in our Let's Talk Women's History Month series. You know, we truly appreciate your participation and the valuable, I say valuable insights you have shared during this meaningful event. Your presence helped make this series a success, and we are grateful for the time and energy you dedicated to honoring the achievements and contributions of yourself and other great women throughout history. Also, congratulations to the winners of our fantastic prizes. We truly hope you enjoy them. Again, you can connect with Juandalynn Givan. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram at Juandalynn Givan. And you can hit her up on her campaign site at GivanForMayor.com, correct?
Mm-hmm. And Juandalynn Givan for mayor. So I have all these webs. Listen, and for some reason, I told you I've been devastated, and we're trying to figure it out. I some kind of way locked myself out of my personal page that has the most followings, but we're trying to get it worked out. But go to any one of those. It will lead you to where you need to be. So I'm super excited. Look for the announcement about the luncheon, and let's do something, as Larry Langford said.
Absolutely. Okay, ladies. A heartfelt thank you to the incredible Sister Queens for making our Let's Talk 2025 Women's History Month series, Preparing to Thrive in 25, a wildly success event. We have been blessed with amazing guests and meaningful conversations that have inspired and empowered us all. Your dedication, passion, and support have played an integral role in making this series a true success. You are greatly appreciated and deeply loved for all that you do to uplift and strengthen our community. Thank you for being a part of this unforgettable journey. Have a good night, Queens, and much love. Yes, ladies, yes. Good night, good night, good night, good night. See you next time.